testimony. Here's working overtime. It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there is all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there were no Tenma Taro in the foyer. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense for lacking that. Our entire world would be upside down. Says the convict prosecutor who is totally a sign of the end times from the legal world. And besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But if we can't prove she saw Tenma Taro, the mayor's sure to be convicted. Then we better hope my guns will fire bullets, not BBs. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Guess we gotta prove this Filch ain't all as he sees. It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My ears might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor, there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by.
Hold it!
So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear a creaky floor. Plus, that Tenma Taro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle. Jingle jangle? How does he do that? It's that staff of his. That's what jingle jangles. What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, but I guess Tenma Taro has a staff that makes noise. Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said she saw Tenma Taro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Phil says Tenma Taro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. If Tenma Taro were to pass by, his staff would have gone jingle jangle. Is that so? Wait a minute. There it is. This thing you have to present.
Objection!
Tenma Taro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm gonna say that your story doesn't add up. Is there something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenma Taro on the day of the incident. Why didn't you assume just now that Tenma Taro will be holding a staff? Huh? You see, the Tenma Taro Jinxie saw held the staff in his hands, and she described its sound just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound. Yeah, so he was holding a staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tenma Taro doesn't use a staff. Not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenma Taro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? You're right. There's no staff. Not even a cane or a walking stick. Yak! So the question is, why does the witness think Tenma Taro uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. All right, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenma Taro carries a staff. He actually saw Tenma Taro, that's why. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenma Taro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff. Busted again! Bloody hell! You duplicitous little... Yes! How'd that feel, Blackquill? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenma Taro that day, didn't you? Well? I'm begging you! Please don't make me say it! But clearly you did see Tenma Taro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact! No can do! No way, no how! You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be! He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tenma Taro, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come Come to think of it, they say you must not gaze upon Tenma Taro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tenma Taro will claim your soul. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenma Taro after hearing about the village's superstition. She said that if she saw anyone that she had seen Tenma Taro, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too? Ah, so Mr. Big-Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about him? Them old village superstitions? Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Nine-Tails Vale believe some pretty strange things, and their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenma Taro. Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul? See? That's why us folks at Nine-Tailed Vales can't talk about seeing Tenma Taro. Village superstitions, huh? That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenma Taro costume. They knew about the way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that the Tenma Taro impersonator is the true killer. What?
Objection!
Superstitions, you say? What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that using some silly fairy tale could so easily expose the culprit? You'll need to come up with a more rational, common-sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Professor Blackquill.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the Clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Nine-Tails Vale. A life-or-death superstition might even make even you a believer. Order, order, I say! You fool of a Tanuki! 2 times now your lies have cost me! Sorry, I promise not to do it again! Taka, my fine feathered friend, have at him! Yipes! He's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills! Ah, he took off! Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him and with your fastest men! That's certainly not something you see every day. Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party disguised as a yokai Tenma Taro was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill? Oh, damn! Uh-oh! What? Huh? Ah! His shackles! I'm too young to die! Justice, Stone. Long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You had best say your prayers. I like this, but man, it's scary. Detective, do something! Have no fear, Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
Objection!
Then get going already before he kills us! Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackquill, for it is his sense of justice that set him free. Objection, objection! I object to defective Fulbright's definition of justice!
Silence!
I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, can I ask you to, you know... I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenma Taro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Right, and that yokai, or rather whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Cubey.
Silence!
Yuck! Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber? What? He's right. She said nothing about Taro being in the Fox Chamber. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door. And your point is? Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewed murder victim, the Alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor. No, there must have been someone dressed up like Tenma. Ah! Then why does that little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber? Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenma Taro inside the Fox Chamber? There is but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood, and long last it shall be sated. Wait, this is still a trial, right? Show me what you're truly capable of. Justice Dono. Very well then. Both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Ah! 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess? Just so. Plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo. The loo? You mean the bathroom? Sheesh. At least include enough time to wash our hands. See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins. I declare Prosecutor Blackquill the winner of this round, Simon says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? April 18th, 10:40 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. He busted out of his shackles! Yeah, what was that all about? Guess they don't make shackles like they used to. Better be careful, Apollo. You really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tenma Taro impersonator at the manor. What's with that guy? And the whole samurai act anyway? Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel. No, wait. Let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence. I suppose it could wait until later. Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up. Remember what Blackquill said, Apollo. Don't be late. April 18th, 10:43 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Now then, I believe our next witness is Miss Jinxie Tenma, a maid at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now if the witness is ready, that is. Orion, leader of the 100 demons. He really does exist. Wow, that is one well-polished tray. The witness will show her face while in court or her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child? Begone, Orion, leader of the 100 demons. You think I'm a yokai? Well, I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts. The beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will. My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one. Now, you little scamp. Yes? I trust you know why you're here. The bags! Bags? Oh, that tricksy tanuki? Try the noodle stand. And go enjoy a big bowl of tanuki-style noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian.
No, I meant your bags. The ones under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azuki-Garai away.
Azuki-Garai? The yokai that washes Azuki beans? The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off.
Azuki-Garai often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore.
Is that so? Well, thank you.
Looks like Prosecutor Blackquill got more than he bargained for.
They're bad enough alone, but together these two are just plain creepy. Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene. Witness testimony, what Jinxie saw.
Did I see Tenma Taro in the fox chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw, yes, now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room.
So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime?
Uh-huh, lots and lots of them.
Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tenma Taro happen to be among them?
I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming in yokai. Kasha, Nurikabe, Seto Taisho. They were all there.
Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have this court listened to this delusional little scamp's testimony?
Hold it!
Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear, but a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course.
What a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Cykes. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena?
She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help.
Any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill? Shall we let Miss Cykes proceed? It makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She'd be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land.
I'll show you.
Moon Matrix System online! Uh-oh, not good! Massive sadness!
Did I see Tenma Taro in the fox chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw. Now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room. Found something. Looks like an out-of-control emotion.
Athena, what exactly are we looking at here?
Oh, this? It's one of Widget's functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice.
Whoa, you mean that little thing can do all this?
Pretty cool, huh?
And here I thought it was just some kid's toy.
Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. Did I see Tenma Taro, fox chamber? See how sad is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess.
So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions?
Yes, that's right. Her fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear.
So she was and still is seeing ordinary objects as yokai.
We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing Pro. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally, hit probe again to try to get to the heart of the matter.
Okay, let's give this a try.
Yokai, right there in that room.
A cat monster on a wheel and fire.
Got it!
Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on a wheel of fire?
That's Akasha, a yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the aldermans.
It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation.
Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a wheel of fire.
I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha?
Take that!
The light fixture?
This one right here. It has a flame design and is up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a wheel of fire. The Akasha you saw was just a light fixture.
Yay!
Nice.
That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now you got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest.
Jinxie, what about this white wall-like monster?
That's Nirikabe. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray.
That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen.
Yeah.
And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just a statue of one.
Yeah.
And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Her tray cracked. Noise level down to 50%.
You did it, Apollo. Her extreme fear is under control now. It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. There weren't any yokai after all. See? A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber.
Right. There never really were any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact opposite of their original assertion. Wait. Jinxie, what about Tenma Taro?
There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Tenma Taro or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now.
You've gotta be joking! Order in the court!
I think we just dug our own grave.
Allow me to push you on it. It's the least I could do. No!
Apollo! Can I interrupt your freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion.
Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet?
Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have and run an update.
Update confirmed.
Did I see Tenma Taro in the Fox Chamber? I was so scared when I entered the room. My legs gave out, and I fell on the floor.
Well, it's 8-3, huh? Fine. Point out the sad emotion. Got it! The amount of fear you felt is rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear?
Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment.
You did? Where did it come from?
Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt as if she was there with me. Okay, I'll enter a sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Ah, look.
There you go.
Apollo, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now.
Noise level 0. Mood matrix system complete. A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage?
Yes, there was, but, I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage?
Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if she saw something like it at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did your sudden burst of courage had anything to do with this? The Nine-Tails flower?
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a Nine-Tails flower there at the scene, did you?
Ah! The demon lawyer strikes again! I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a Nine-Tails flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it.
You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene? That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant.
Sorry.
It does seem to be some sort of case. Oh, look, something slid out. It appears to be a key. Might I have a look, your boldness? Ah, this is none other than the master key to QB Manor. Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackquill? It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder.
A master key that went missing?
Why don't I like the sound of that? Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence.
That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder, which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl.
And your point is?
Until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world, and there was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. I trust you have figured it out for yourself by now. A killer other than Mayor Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable. No!
Objection!
How could this happen?
The defense's assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations. Athena, are you alright?
I know Mayor Tenma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do. This sucks.
Cykes, Stono, allow me to put you out of your misery.
Can I decline your offer?
Of that and your client and your misplaced faith in it. Let the relief of a clear head and a clearing conscience come rushing in. That'll make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept.
Great, now he's playing Simon Says with us. Well, he's not gonna fool us with his stupid mind games.
Athena, don't fall for his tricks.
Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight.
Hey, are you alright?
She fell right into his trap.
Now I suggest you make a mad dash for the courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed.
Alright, I'll be back in 10.
Objection!
Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai.
Apollo.
Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to?
Huh?
Oh, right.
That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena.
The court is waiting, Mr. Justice, though as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it. Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case?
Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Apollo, you do have something more than your core to steal, don't you?
Not really, but we'll be fine.
What?
I've got absolutely nothing, but that's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't.
Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box. Or in this case, inside the box.
What a doozy that locked room is, too. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument?
You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room, one way or another.
Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Turner.
Time to do or die, literally.
The defense will now explain how it will be possible to escape the locked room.
You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened?
I'm fine. We just need to think this whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so?
The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through, and there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent, it's up too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out.
Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best.
We need to rule out all the absolutely impossible escape routes.
Then whatever's left just might lead us to how the Fox chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. The hallway door.
Take that!
The hallway door? Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out. It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key until Jinx and Tenma came on scene was with that locked room. How would one exit the Fox chamber and then lock it without a key? I should have seen this coming.
Remember, Apollo, keep it simple.
Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but... Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly.
I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox chamber hallway's door was locked was because the perp locked it from the outside. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door, then locked the house!
Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked Fox chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of fact.
Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction.
If only we could explain both. Like how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside. Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackquill draws his sword. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight? That's simple. He threw it from the outside.
What if someone threw it into the room from the outside?
You know, something like go out the hallway door, lock the room, and then toss the key back in through the window. That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There is a cliff outside the Fox chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Oh, right.
Ah! I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window.
Somewhere other than the window? Could the key have been tossed in through somewhere other than the window? Yeah, the air duct!
Take that!
The air vent? Yes, the window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not.
Oh, that's right! The Fox chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway.
That's right! The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox chamber. Then dropped the key into the room through the vent inside the chamber. That's preposterous!
Ooh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly.
Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. First, the real killer disguised as Tenma Taro murdered the alderman in the Fox chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it.
Next, they entered the air duct from the van outside in the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key to the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer?
Amazing. Even I could follow that.
The judge seems really pleased.
That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Tenma Taro. And there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Hey, it looks like that lawyer is beating the jailbird prosecutor. Whoa, that was a total turnabout.
That massive foreigner seems so much more attractive now.
Order, 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 I say!
Now that I prove a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence! God damn it! A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed its mark. Huh? Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz right out the front door?
That's exactly what happened.
The killer fled from the couch! But that is impossible, without being spotted by the foyer security camera, that is. The electric eye here would have captured any pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there is no sign of Tenma Taro anywhere in the security footage.
What?
Save for the foyer entrance, there is no other way to flee the manor, is there? I don't feel so good.
Hold it!
Wait, I believe there is one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera.
Hey, you're right. Silence. Not again. Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one.
None!
Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window?
What the heck, right?
Ha! I suppose your next proposal is the killer spread wings and flew off into the sunset.
That would mean the killer really was a yokai. If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer.
Who's saying we don't? As completely far-fetched as it might be.
What? You're saying you can prove the killer could fly?
Whoa, I thought I was the one with the cores of steel. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Your Honor, what evidence do you have that the killer flew away? The special edition paper.
Take that!
Take a look at the special edition paper. Tenma Taro, real or flight or fancy? What does this article prove, Mr. Justice?
The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in the photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window.
Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting.
Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer disguised as Tenma Taro flew away. You know, by somewhere or another.
Silence. It is your brain that has flown the coop. That image is not but trick photography or some other form of artifice.
Okay then, how about the Tenma Taro figure Mr. Phil saw? He just vanished in the thin air.
No, there is a rational common sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai our tricksy Tanuki witness never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye. She? I don't like where this is going one bit. Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter, Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at the time. Not good. Not good at all. Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Donald? The falsified yokai remnants and the appearance of Tenma Taro were the work of one individual. And that individual is none other than Jinxie Tenma. Grace, are you going to make an accusation like that? Order! Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever. The little scamp was no doubt simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade. Prosecutor Blackwill's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window. Did you truly believe this could end any other way? Did we fall right into his trap?
What do we do now, Apollo?
Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. If only we had one. Bailiff, seize her. It is time I interrogated her as the samurai of your wood. Mayor Tenma! This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Tenma Taro's true identity is. Now, Mr. Mayor, it would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you've been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the mayor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution will be willing to overlook her little yokai farce. Confess? The defendant intends to confess? Wait.
Apollo! Prosecutor Blackwill's up to his mind games again.
Mayor Tenma, no, don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinx will be left all alone. The real killer is...
Mayor Tenma's gonna confess unless we do something!
But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away. Caw, 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 caw. Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time for my return. Uh-oh, I should watch what I wish for. Ka, 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 ka! Foolish mortals! I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you see. Mayor Tenma. Silence! I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold, the return of the Demon King. What the?
Demon King?
Well then, I think it's time for me to take a vacation. The witness will, he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenma Taro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed, it is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? Ha! What nonsense! So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now? Ka, 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 his body is now mine. So you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that JC Tenma and Phineas Filch saw, and the one captured in the newspaper photo, those were all you? The accursed power of these warding charms prevents me from revealing my true form. Your boldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, a confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented. Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned. Huh? What? You claim the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party, the true killer. The one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along. Ironic, isn't it not? Your yokai turned out to be real in a manner of speaking. But the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma. And the yokai at the scene? That too was Mayor Tenma, or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have fallen into place. How so, Prosecutor Blacquill? It seems I must spell it all out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the alderman in the fox chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charms from the Forbidden Chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow the alderman had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter Jinxie Tenma stumbled on the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the fox chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
But when we arrived on scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How is that possible if he was supposed to have flown out the foyer window?
Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of QB Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro? Oh.
Ah!
That too is easily explained. Flew about for a time, did I, but presently tired I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me unawares in the Fox Chamber, and I knew no more. It would seem the pieces are still in place.
Is Blackquill up to his tricks again?
I don't know what to say. Is the defendant a real live...
So that rumor about Mayor Tenma's true? I knew yokai were real.
You mean he really did kill the alderman just so he could release Tenma Taro? Order! Order!
Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai.
It's Simon Says on steroids!
He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai.
The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, Your Boldness. This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature.
Since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice but
Silence!
This is the dark age of law where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Dunn.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation.
How about I just promise not to succumb to anything?
We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all but...
What's wrong with him?
Prosecutor Blackquill, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that. What in the devil was that? Fulbright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner? It seems you found that quite shocking. It's my special jolt of justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave. You shall pay for this. I, Simon Blackquill, vouch. Your Honor, you need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackquill will remain on his best behavior.
A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective?
Well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned.
My voice is gonna kill me, I swear. That's a lot. And yes, like always, I have to split this into parts. These get longer and longer, and I'm just telling you this right now so that way you don't be asking, when's the next part coming? Ever heard of patience? I got other things I need to do. So that is it. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like button. It means a lot to me. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. I will see you then. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. Product provided by Capcom.